Hi guys, I'm Shmee and today I'm visiting the Lotus Driving Academy, and this is going to be a pretty cool series of videos. I'm going to be joining this venue run by Lotus Motorsport and go through the sort of full experience that is available to Lotus customers of the automotive division as well as other visitors and attendees here. It's a proper program designed to break down the individual sort of aspects of track driving and teach you from the ground up and really learn how to push yourself, and what a wonderful venue to do it. Of course, at the home of Lotus in Hethel with their test track, a track that is very much designed for the purpose to really push the cars and has sort of complete purpose-built facilities. So I'm going to be filming with the Lotus Exige 360 Cup and also with the Cup R, which is a very special machine indeed. So this is going to break down into a couple of different videos. Today we're going to be given a little bit of an introduction into sort of track preparation, getting things ready, and of course taking a look around the garages out behind us that we can go and sort of look at the cars and learn a little bit more about them. Then I'll be going out onto the track in the 360 Cup, the new car, to be able to sort of learn a little bit more about understeer, oversteer, and then trying it out on the slalom. So let's go and meet up with Gavin Kershaw and let's get shown around. Right, so I'm joined by Gav. Thank you very much for showing me around today. First question, tell me a little bit about your sort of role here at Lotus Motorsport.
Technical manager, so the engineering team, development teams work for myself, and we're responsible for bringing road cars through to cup cars, racing cars, and extreme cars like T125. Developing everything.
Yeah, well, there's some pretty good stuff in here already.
It's a pretty good garage, yeah.
So tell me, what are we looking at?
So the white car here is the latest 360 Cup. It's taking Exige, pushing it a little bit further towards the track focus, so adjustable dampers, roll cages, a little bit more power. Designed as a track day enthusiast car, limited edition to only 50, so really gives it sort of net value in there. And the Cup range of products from Lotus is designed to ultimately end up in the Lotus Cup series as a race car. So it's got all the race parts built in, fire extinguishers, kill switch, that anyone going from track days to racing will need.
Okay.
But that morphs us straight into what we call the Cup R range. So these are out and out road race cars, not designed for the road. More aerodynamics, more power, sequential race gearboxes, but typically designed to run in the Lotus Cup series, right at the very top. If anyone's winning the Lotus Cup, they'll typically be in an Exige Cup R or an Evora GT4 car. And our range of cars, the Elise, Exige and Evora, all have race variants from the Cup variants. And then we go on to extreme vehicles that we've built. So we've built 6 T125s, which was the ultimate track day car. £500,000, 650 horsepower, 600 kilos, lapping within 3 seconds of current F1 cars. A lot of downforce, but easy to use. So we could run it with just one engineer and one mechanic and data guy. And 6 of these are out in the world. They're being played with by lucky guys, basically.
So those are out with customers?
Out with customers,
Private customers.
Yeah, we don't keep them here. This one is the last one to be sold and built. And it is literally, people think $500,000 is expensive, but the performance from that, you can limit. If you're a good racing driver, probably do 10 to 15 laps before you're exhausted, and you're lapping within 3 seconds of a Formula 1 car.
That's quite a special experience, I imagine.
Yeah, it's a move up for anybody. And to start with, the people who buy them are just gobsmacked by the pure acceleration, and then it's the braking performance, and then you pull all that together to experience what you watch on a Sunday.
Fantastic. Well, I'm rather looking forward to my experience driving these two. I imagine even for me, this will feel like the 360 Cup will feel like quite a special car to be able to sort of learn and sort of understand some of the basics.
Yeah, the Lotus's range is fantastic for learning tracks, but also pulling everything together. A lot of supercars are praised for their brakes, their aero, or their acceleration. Lotus is typically bringing that package all together, so it accelerates in one where it's not warp factor mode, but it's brisk. Then the brakes are right on the limit. You can brake as late as you can, pulling sort of 1.3, 1.4 G, and then turning into a corner. And it's piecing that lap together, and you don't have to be doing 200 miles to enjoy yourself. The 150 miles per hour on our circuit you'll touch today, and it's being at one with the car. It's like putting on your favourite pair of trainers. You just know it, and you want to go and have fun in it. And then that moving forward to The lap time reduces by 10 seconds, 15 seconds per lap. It doesn't sound that much, but all of a sudden you're going from a 131 to a 32 lap time to a 125 to a 1 minute dead.
Okay, yes, I can see.
So from the slowest car in here to the very fastest is only 30 seconds a lap, but it's the experience you get from doing it.
Let's take a look in the workshop.
Yeah, this is our workshop where we prep the cars. You can see LDA cars, the Elises, things being prepped for you to drive today. GTE, it was a project that we've finished off in motorsport. We've delivered customer cars, 20 of those now. Through to the cars over here are out-and-out race cars. GT4 Evora being built, Cup R Exige, and then, you're quite lucky it's here, we're just in the middle of the test and development program of the 311, so we've returned back from the Nürburgring that people can read about with the race and road car 311. So we're now full steam ahead into test and development on those. So this one's now being morphed into an out-and-out racing car. The IVA test is for that one. So it's a real atmosphere in here. You know, we've got Mark 1 Elises here for service from customers, and it feels like being at home. This was Colin Chapman's aircraft hanging. You know, we've got Formula 1 cars hanging from the roof. So this is...
I hadn't even noticed that before.
if you're a car nut, you're a Lotus nut, you know, geez, there's no better place to spend your day than in here.
Brilliant. So we're going to set off now, I think, to get a sort of pre-preparation kind of before going out on the track and talk a little bit about the cars.
Yeah, people book track days without really knowing what you can do yourself to maximise them. You know, personally, you're getting your car ready for it. So now I'd like to run you through a few bits of that.
Fantastic.
Okay, so later on this afternoon you're going to be driving this car on track, you know, full lap circuits. But before we even get that far, you know, I want to try and get across to people when they come to Lotus, when they go on track days. There's more you can do before you actually get there. Make sure, you know, the tyres are right, the oil levels are right, there's nothing rolling around in the trunk of the car. You know, you wouldn't believe that people do track days with their briefcase sliding around in the boot. Get your tyre pressures, look through your handbook, see if they recommend tyre pressures. We recommend around about 30 psi 2-bar hot pressures, so take a tyre pressure gauge with you. The car generates grip, it warms the tyres up. If you go out there with too high tyre pressures, it's just going to handle not the way that people want it to. So we put all that in our handbook. You have to have towing eyes fitted. Make sure you've got your towing eye with you, otherwise you'll get thrown off the track day. Make sure your noise of your car is compatible with the track day you're going to do. You know, noise limits are getting tighter and tighter. Supercars and cars are getting noisier, so it's actually easier to drive a noisy car on the road now than it is a track. Make sure your harnesses or your seat belts, everything like that. You've got your crash helmet, and it's a lot of preparation. The same as if you're going to go and play any sport. You know, racing's a sport, driving's a sport. So, you know, make sure there's no things rolling around your phone and stuff like that. Everyone's got it, their wallet, their keys. Keep the cockpit clear. You never know what's going to happen on the day. The Lotus is fantastic. It's pretty minimal anyway, but we've got full racing seats, non-airbag airbags, no debris in there. Understand your car. You know, if you're taking tools, leave them in a garage. Find a mate to leave them with. Check your oil, and then that's just before you get on there. Once you're driving, you know, cool down laps. You hear people say they're going to do cool down laps. Don't park with your handbrake on. It takes a car nearly 2 to 3 laps to cool down. You know, the gearbox and engine temperatures are up at the oil's 140, 150 degrees C. You're not just going to cool down in 1 kilometre or 2 kilometres. And it's your pride and joy you're looking after. So take it carefully, build it up, check your brake pads. You know, a lot of people drive their cars home from track days. That's what we're famous for, giving race car performance, but being able to drive it home. So just before you leave to drive home, check your tyres, pump them back up again if you've been letting them down all day, and just make sure they've got enough pads in there. So it's the preparation, same as you should do for anything.
Yeah, well, I'm very much looking forward to driving that car later on today. But I think the first step for me is going to be trying the Elise S, I believe.
Yeah, we introduce people into the sort of what we call control mechanisms in the Elise, 1.8 supercharged. We've got a dynamics area that we can wet. We put out a cone slalom because you don't want to be throwing at the scenery at lots of speed. You want to be able in a car that steers, brakes and controls itself naturally. So you can start to, as a driver and as an instructor, tell people what you're checking ahead. And the Elise is fantastic. It does everything at one with you. As you're thinking about doing something, you can do it with the car. You're not waiting for it to slow down or turn or accelerate. There's no wheel spin. So we go step by step, and then people are moving from these to the Exiges. And, you know, guys who track day regularly know that you'll still see the Mark 1 Elises kicking around with 150 horsepower, you know, and they're right up the back of some serious supercars. So it's not all about horsepower, but that's what we're going to teach you in this morning, and we're going to go out to the track.
First activity of the day, and I'm joined by Danny Hargrove, senior instructor here. I can see we've got the Elise and we've got a very big wet circle. What are we doing?
Right, okay, we're going to be looking at oversteer and understeer on this particular activity. We've got the nice wet area, as you can see ahead of you, and we've got the Elise with front wheels all the way around. Fundamentally, this is to reduce mechanical grip, so therefore we can go around the radius of the circle at relatively slow speeds, but the car is going to be a little bit more sensitive than it would be on the road. So first of all, we're going to look at understeer, what understeer is and how to control that. Then we'll look at oversteer, where the back of the car loses grip, and now we're going to control that as well. We'll end the activity with maybe looking at a bit of power sliding. So just imagine you're driving around the average size roundabout, start to increase the speed. Your natural reaction will be to prevent any kind of skidding taking place before it actually takes place. So you've got to go beyond your natural instincts. Okay? Just try and wander a little bit small steering lock so you get to feel the car pushing on. There it is.
And then you release it and it will go back in.
Exactly that bit. The beauty about this is you get into test and see the limits of your car before, you know, in a safe environment.
Yeah.
Okay, Tim, this time round, just continue the radius of the circle, but rather than introducing too much understeer, we'll try and keep it on the threshold of the grip, and then we'll see if we can suddenly lift off the throttle to make the back of the car step out. Lift off. Hey, straight into the power slide. So in a real life situation, get on the brakes, get the thing stopped.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Keep it going. Lift off.
Saved.
Yeah, awesome.
Felt like a good save.
It's good. Right, what do you want to do now? A bit more?
Try to slide it.
Try to, yeah. It's going to be difficult with the handbrake, but we need to obviously try and go as quick as we can on the limit, and let's even just try and do it by lift off oversteer, or even power on oversteer. So when you kick it in, you get a flick, Scandinavian flick, is it?
Fail.
We can cheat it. Okay, a bit more power now, and lift off. Yeah. Yay! Check that out.
Well, that was a little bit frustrating. Sometimes I got it, sometimes I didn't quite.
Well, it's taking you out of your comfort zone. The thing that made it slightly difficult today was having to use the handbrake just to lock the back wheels and make the car slide.
Yeah.
Normally we can do this activity by just lifting off the throttle, and that's naturally enough to send the car sideways. But today I think the tyres were just a little bit too good on the back and giving you too much grip.
Yeah, and it's a completely unnatural thing as well, because your sort of instinct is like, stop it from doing this.
Yeah, and that's exactly what people say to me week after week. And I see it, the frustration. You try and end the session on a high, which we did there. We got some good moves and got the thing going sideways in the end.
Good time. It's a perfect place to do it as well.
Absolutely.
But what are we moving on to now then?
Okay, so we're on to the slalom activity now. Ahead of you we've got a series of cones, all of which are slightly different gaps between the two, so you've got to modulate your speed. In the middle section there we've got an area where we can upshift to third gear, and then it comes tight again towards the end, so we can downshift using the heel and toe technique and getting it down into second gear before turning around the yellow cone at the end.
And a completely normal Elise S to do this in?
Absolutely, completely standard, nothing different about this car whatsoever.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay, so onto the slalom course then. First gate is always straight ahead, Tim. Now we're looking across towards the right hand side. Looking at the right hand cone on the outside, now across to the left hand cone. We're in second gear at the moment, but I'm going to build the speed up and up into third gear. Outside right, outside left, outside right, outside left. And on this particular route, we'll stay in second gear, downshift into second, heel and toes, which we spoke about. And there we go. Okay, here we go then into the slalom course. First gate straight ahead. So up to second gear, over to the outside cone on the left. Already start to look across to the outside cone on the right. Good. And outside cone left. Start to build the speed up into third gear now. Again, outside right. Keep it going. Let's become down to left, we're going to brake down to second gear. Good. Hands to the right. And then round the yellow cone once again to set you up.
Back at base then after driving the Lotus Elise in the understeer and oversteer and out on the slalom. And it's when you're driving a car like that that you truly get to experience sort of the different inputs and how exactly they interact. Just quickly, you can hear in the background the classic Team Lotus old Formula 1 car that's going around sounding absolutely insane. And as well as that, there are also some other very special cars here that are all looking rather good in this lineup. But driving those cars, yes, as I was saying, that's where you get to properly experience the different inputs and work out how your interactions are controlling the car with something that doesn't have insane performance, so that when you do then drive the much more powerful cars, you get to properly turn that into something you can use, drive and feel and make the most out of it. So you go through this different training, just like anything in life. If you sort of practice the basics and work on each individual sort of aspect of it, you can convert that into the sort of full package. And take it and learn from it. So with those two cars, obviously the understeer handled that fine, very used to the sort of control of when you're experiencing understeer, when you sort of back off a little bit and release the steering to get the grip back on the front wheels. Then with the oversteer, obviously we were suffering from the tyres, so using the handbrake to sort of initiate oversteer going on and snapping that back and keeping that in control, and then a little bit of power sliding, which I wasn't so good at out there, which frustrated me a lot because I really wanted to be awesome at it. Obviously I've tried it before in different cars and not done too badly. It's kind of unnatural though, because you're so used to trying to control the car in that situation. And then we went out to the slalom, had a couple of quick runs before the F1 car went out. Just got some practice with that, but it's all of these training techniques that you learn, experience and get used to, which I could then take in my next piece out into the Exige 360 Cup, and then the Cup R after that, and properly get to experience and try them and take that in on the full track. So that was the first sort of look at what goes on at the Lotus Driving Academy, a look around with Gavin, showing you around the different cars and the workshop, then a couple of little runs out in the Elise, and then after this we're going to be heading over to the Exige 360 Cup. So that's going to be quite exciting, so make sure you're subscribed and stay tuned to check that out. Pop in all the links down below that you'll want to see to read about what I've been up to. But that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch up with you again very soon. Cheers! I'm going to be jumping on board the Delta Red 675 LT with Rob, my instructor, and it looks breathtaking. I was hoping for